I finished my sketchbook. So I finally finished this sketchbook, and this was done in all of 2024. I started at the very beginning of 2024 and just finished today, which is August, I think. So I got a lovely reptiles are greater than people sticker, my name, the year, and then the back, which also has reptile stickers. Well, that's an amphibian, technically. Whatever. Actually, I do care. The difference between amphibians and reptiles is very important to me. So I started out with my sketchbook being more detailed and more kind of realistic or representational drawings. And then you'll see as I go along, I start to loosen up a little bit more and use the sketchbook for playing and experimenting and seeing how I like different colors and textures to go together. Because I started this sketchbook in January of 2024 and then I finished just now in August of 2024, you can see that I have a lot of different ideas, thoughts, and processes that I go through throughout the year, and some things that I might stick with more and other things that I don't. One thing I definitely stick with is drawing myself because self-portraits are very fun, and also eyes because eyes are interesting and I like them. As you can probably hear, a lot of the pages are sticking together because I loaded them up with lots of paint and mediums, and so a lot of times the pages would stick and then I would open them up and then they would rip apart at like the edges of the seam area. So then I would go back in and use markers and other things to kind of clean up those spaces where the paper was torn. I personally like the process of a sketchbook being a little bit rough and things kind of getting messed up and ripped out and layered on top of each other again, because sketchbooks for me are not a place where I have to be perfect, and then I can just kind of relax and try things and see what happens. And also tears are kind of fun sometimes, and then coloring them in with markers you get a cool bleedy effect, which is very fun. Those are dried flowers. They look very cool. I also experimented a lot with tons of layers because I love layers, and this one you can see I scraped the paint out. Oops, that was the other one. And then lots of linear drawings, and then lots and lots of different materials. I think most of the materials I used in this were acrylic paint, Posca pens, some printmaking stuff, colored pencils, gouache, markers, so many things. I also experimented with using a lot of different acrylic mediums from Golden, so I used a lot of like matte mediums and gel mediums and bead mediums and all these things to see what kinds of textures and qualities of matteness or glossiness it would provide. Then I also used a bunch of random things that I found, like this dried paint here that I had on my palette that I scraped off and I could not get rid of. And then I also used tape because I became really obsessed with how tape, when painted over, looks really cool. So then I've been collecting my tape that I use for painting to mask things out and then sticking into my sketchbook because it just looks so cool with all the little layers on top. Also some color studies, as you can see. There's some green here. I was experimenting with the different overlays, and then I got this sticker from a little thrift market, so I wanted to play with those colors because I liked them. And then I went through lots of different phases of drawing and painting and adding and subtracting and doing lots of different things. These last few pages, or spreads really, I did on the same day because I really wanted to finish because I was so close. So you can see some of them are a lot more sketchy and experimental as well because I was determined to finish, and then some are just mark making because mark making is so fun. And there it is, that's my whole sketchbook. Voila, you can see it's quite thick